timer. Score! Oh, it's over. It's over. They score!
That's game. Oh, my goodness.
They score. Roll the highlight reel. What a ripper. Top Jetta. Spread it on.
It's HNLive Today. I'm Sean Mullen along with Dave Dawson. And Dave, in a second, we're going to have some hockey beef to talk about. But first, just how was your weekend?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I can't really get into my weekend without talking about the beef, but no, I'm kidding. It was good. A couple of games, it's right now I'm in the thick of the Edmonton Oil Kings schedule, and that's wrapping up. But overall, weather is getting pretty nice. I think that's the nice thing. Sun up, sun down, sun up, sun down in Edmonton, plus 20 on the weekend. Plus 20 again today. Can't get better than that. It's still minus 10 in Swift Current, or?
Well, no, it was nice Monday, going to be crappy for the rest of the week. So,
okay. It's so minus 40 or minus 30, somewhere in there?
That's spring in the prairies. 1 second you're outside in your shorts, the next your park is back out again. That's just what we got to get used to. And that's March for you. But once we get through March, you can see the good weather peeking around the corner. And with the good weather peeking around the corner, Dave, that means playoff hockey, right?
Nothing like playoffs.
Playoffs? And so we've got a lot of playoff hockey to talk about, and that's going to be part of what we have on the show today, looking into the Western Hockey League playoff picture, certainly the Junior A playoff picture with the Centennial Cup. It's going to be on hockeycanada.ca, and we're the streaming provider for Hockey Canada, and so we're excited about that. We'll talk more about that. Of course, the Junior B playoffs are right in the thick of things. We've got Junior B provincials coming up in 3 weeks, and the Heritage Junior Hockey League playoffs championship finals going on right now. So we'll get into a lot of that detail coming up as well. We have a chance to chat with the vice president of the Ukraine Ice Hockey Federation about a wonderful initiative that we're going to be a part of next week called Hockey4Ukraine in association with Hockey Calgary. We'll have details on that coming up. Dave, Mathiew Gauthier is going to be on the show today, who has been a star in the NLL and in the Junior A Lacrosse League in Alberta, and you've seen a whole lot of him.
Yeah, certainly a household name, a guy who absolutely caught the entire lacrosse world by storm in 2022 with his playoff performance, then into the Minto Cup as well. Excited to talk with him. If you've had a chance to meet Mathiew Gauthier is one of the nicest guys you'll get a chance to meet in the lacrosse world, and I love the lacrosse community because the people are so excited about the coverage. The appetite for lacrosse across Canada is intense.
Absolutely. And Big Mo Jabari is going to be with us from Dungeon Wrestling, Unfinished Business 2, which will be on HNLive coming up on March 29th and at the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary. He'll be our guest later on in the program. The jam-packed edition of the show brought to you by Adrenaline Source for Sports, Calgary's premier store for hockey, lacrosse, and team apparel. Recently renovated and bigger and better than ever. A one-stop shop for all your sporting good needs. Visit us online at adrenalinegroup.ca. We fit your game. Dave, another intense matchup in our Western Hockey League report, our Junior Hockey League report for the week between the Swift Current Broncos and Edmonton Oil Kings. The last game between the two teams this season has resulted in another Dave beef.
Well, and I want to be careful and not give off the impression that I'm a homer in this, but it certainly raised the few eyebrows of people who are watching this game on Sundays. So here's the story. It's 4-4. Gavin Honda gets a penalty for pushing a stick across the ice that we've seen happen in the NHL sometimes before. Gets a delay game penalty, goes to the penalty box. On the power play, the Broncos are working it around back behind the net. It goes off of a stick up at a play. Connor Vidston is pointing, hey, went out of play to the referee. He didn't do anything. Oil King goes to clear it out of the zone. He can't. It goes left point, right point, down to Geeky to flex it in. Top shelf, 5-4, game over. Not game over, but at that point in time, it was 5-4. Swift is a strong team. Oil Kings
very nice
back.
deflection. Very nice deflection.
It was a nice deflection. I'll give him that. But the play got reviewed. I'm not sure what they were reviewing. If it's even an option to review a puck going out of play, but nonetheless, it certainly left a sour taste in the mouth of a lot of people watching that game, and especially members of the Oil Kings brass. So I don't know. What did you think of it? I thought that it was a bit of a controversial one.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously missed it, right? I mean, that's unfortunately the nature of, even with 4 referees on the ice, 2 referees, 2 linesmen, they won't catch everything. And I couldn't tell definitively from the video whether the puck was out of play or not, but I'll give it that the player on the ice thought it was, and he was right there. So the officials missed it. I looked it up. I was curious. And in the Western Hockey League rulebook that I could find, when it came to replay, it said for pucks that hit the spectator netting undetected by on-ice officials immediately shall mean the following. When the puck strikes the spectator netting and deflects directly into the goal off any player, or when the puck strikes the spectator netting and falls to the ice and then is directed into the goal by the player who retrieves the puck. So according to that, it was not direct enough off the netting to allow it to be a reviewable play, because it was off the netting, passed back to the line, passed back to someone else, shot and deflected in. There were too many steps between the puck going out of play and the play continuing. So, I mean, I can understand the frustration that the referees missed it, because, that's unfortunately the reality. They just did. But in this case, there was nothing they could have done once they missed it.
Well, and the difficult part is players always know, they say, right? When you look at that, what happened with the Oilers in the playoffs against the Kings, McDavid points up, puck went out of play. I think I trust Connor McDavid. So, a different Connor, not a close comparison, Vidston, points up into the net and says, it's out of play. So when you trust a guy named Connor, you gotta go for tie to the runner. But anyway,
well, it is what it is. I mean, it's funny that it was the team on the attack that pointed out that the puck was out of play and that they're the ones who benefited from it. But it's the old thing coaches will tell you: never give up on a play. Even if you think it should be over, you can't ever give up on a play. And that's a lesson for those Oil Kings. And I'm not saying they did, because I don't think Geekie was left alone. But
no,
I mean, that it's just a reality. Even if you think,
there was a bang play after it happened so quickly. So, yeah.
But impressive again, and I'll say, we've talked about it a number of times on this program since you become the voice of the Oil Kings. That young team, despite being right at the bottom of the standings, still against a team that's been rolling at the top of the standings, about to win their division, gives them a heck of a game, and they've been doing that against all their tough opponents down the stretch. So kudos to the Oil Kings, who finished the season giving their fan base a lot of optimism towards next season.
Yeah, and 4 games shy of 500 since January 1st. If the season started on January 1st, as those, spreadsheets aficionados will sometimes draw up. This Oil Kings group, if not for early on in the season, some of the injuries, the moves they made at the deadline, Colby Hayes playing at the top, his best hockey of his entire career. It's great stuff. But if you look at the Central Division, Molly, the Eastern Conference, some crazy battles there. Calgary with an overtime win yesterday as well, staying alive in the playoff hunt. West is pretty much determined. The East, that final playoff spot between PA and Calgary. Things are wide open in the Western Hockey League playoff run. Can't wait for that to get started.
And it looks like Swift Current will probably finish on top of that Central Division, depending on the results of the last 3 games, which is a remarkable turnaround for them, kind of hovering around, 7th, 8th around Christmas time. So they've had a great run down the stretch. Prince George, their best record ever, I believe, secured by their performances last week. They and Portland go down to the wire for top spot in the Western Conference. A lot of great stories to finish up the Western Hockey League regular season. Now, as for the Junior A picture across the country, of course, we're focused on that as we get to be the streaming provider for the Centennial Cup in May, and so looking forward to that on hockeycanada.ca. The Alberta Hockey League playoffs have gotten underway past the play-in stage, and they've also announced their MVP this year, Dave.
Yeah, Lukas Sukovic of the Bonnyville Pontiacs. He is the MVP, 67 points, 35 goals. He's going to Clarkson University in September as well. Unfortunately for him, his Bonnyville Pontiacs are down currently to Drumheller 2-0 in their series, as this is being recorded on Monday. And but the teams that do remain in the AJHL, these are the teams that have consistently been good. Drum has been a powerhouse for years, just couldn't blow through the ceiling. Now this potentially could be the year for them. The Calgary Canucks as well are up on Grand Prairie, heading into Monday night's game in GP, which is great news for them. But for Lukas Sukovic, have been able to do a bunch of his games this year, over the past couple of years, or last year. He's only been in the league. This is his first full year. So great news for him, as well as Rookie of the Year in Whitecourt.
Yeah, Joey Mello getting the top rookie award. A couple of the players that we heard talk about with Wyatt last week. Wyatt Ziegler, the voice of Whitecourt. Ben Charette named top goalie, and Joey Mello named top rookie. The whole list of the award winners in the Alberta Junior Hockey League awards available on the AJHL website. And you mentioned the Canucks, a team that turned it around big time this year. I had a chance to see another team that made huge strides turning things around this year in Melville. I was doing the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League Game of the Month on SaskTel Max over the weekend, and had a chance to see Melville in their rivalry against Yorkton, and Melville won the game on Friday by decisive fashion in the third period. And it's great to see a Melville team, Dave, that the last couple years have been in dead last, that haven't been in the playoffs since 2018, haven't been a division winner since 2015. They win the Viterra division this year. There was a huge crowd out in Melville on Friday night. The bars were packed because of the excitement around hockey. So it was good to see a community like that has been waiting for a winner for so long, really embracing it. And I know they're only fifth in the league standings while winning their division. So they're going to have a real battle in the first round of the playoffs. But, Kyle McIntyre told us on the show he loves the parity in his league. And there's a lot of interesting matchups in the first round of the SJHL playoffs as well.
Yeah, things anything but determined at all. Those playoffs get underway this week in the MJHL. Their playoffs get underway this week as well. Steinbach, they're poised to get back to the Centennial Cup again. And the race to the glory in the month of May, going through Oakville is going to be just an absolute treat to watch.
Yeah, speaking of the Oakville squad, they advanced in the first round of the playoffs. So again, not just walking into the Centennial Cup. And Collingwood, the top-ranked team in that league, winning their first-round series in 4 straight games. And Oakville general manager Scott McCrory is going to be our guest next week on HNLive Today. So we're really excited to chat with him about the process of building that host team. And I know a team that's going to be a great host for the Centennial Cup coming up in May. And Dave?
Yeah, we're also excited to have AJHL Commissioner Ryan Bartoshik. So we're going to have both of them on. It's going to be a heavy, heavy Junior A show next week. And I can't wait to catch up with both of them. And Scott's got such a great story. When you look at, we'll tee it up this week a little bit, but I think there's so many players now in today's world that if you look at the way hockey was back in the day compared to where it is today, there are a lot of guys that might have, if they played in today's game, been able to succeed. And I think Scott might be one of those. So really excited to catch up with him next week.
Well, and to talk to the commissioner of the Alberta Junior Hockey League in a year where there's been certainly a lot of transition for that league, it's going to be a fascinating conversation. So I really look forward to that conversation as well. Now, in the meantime, Junior B playoffs continue, and we are 3 weeks away from hosting the Alberta Junior B Provincials again on HNLive.ca and broadcasting, I should say. And I can't wait for that. Dave, I know you're really excited to participate in that broadcast, and it's going to be a special one. But the teams trying to get there, we have the Heritage Junior Hockey League Championship Series on HNLive.ca as well, and it's a great start to that series with a 3-1 win for Okotoks in Game 1, hotly contested, and a 4-2 win for Sylvan Lake in Game 2. The home teams holding serve so far, but not a lot to give between those two teams.
And there hasn't been the whole year. You look at the parity, goals for, goals against, everything. These are two very, very evenly matched programs. Either one of these teams can do some damage between the Provincials and Peace River for the 7th. They made the finals last year. They were fun, it was fun to follow and fun to watch them in Okotoks last year as well. So, moving on from the Heritage, when you're looking at the rest of the province, there is some crazy, as much as the finals, there's parity there. There are some crazy matchups going on in the rest of the province. Vermilion up 2-0 on the Wainwright Bisons.
The defending provincial champions.
Defending champions. Adam Huxley has done nothing but create championship teams over the years. Vermilion without a loss at all in the provincial in the playoffs so far. They beat St. Paul's, swept the top team in the Northeast. So an unbelievable. Adam Huxley's a guy that we know well, and he doesn't give up. His team wasn't necessarily favored to win last year. Came back and ended up taking the championship.
It's fascinating stories down the stretch in the Junior B circuit in Alberta, leading towards provincials 3 weeks away on HNLive.ca. And now in 1 week, we get to be a part of a very...
Sorry. Can I wanted to cover on the rest. I don't know why I left it for you there. Thought you might have wanted to comment on the championship last year, but should I just recap the rest of the other 3 leagues?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. And in the Northwest Junior Hockey League, Lacrete, they're the top team, highest scoring team in all of Alberta Junior B this season, up 3-0 on Fort St. John, the defending champions from 2022, 2 years back in Wainwright. So not the defending champions, but they won it 2 years ago. You know where I'm going with that. The CBHA Rangers are up in their series against the Northwest Calgary Athletic Association Stamps. The Rangers now are the 2-time defending champions of the Calgary League as well. So things are heating up, Ollie, down the stretch as we're prepared for the Junior B Provincials.
Yeah, 3 weeks away from Junior B Provincials on HNLive.ca. Game 3, by the way, of the Heritage Junior Hockey League Championship set for Friday night in Okotoks, also on HNLive.ca. And staying with hockey, another event we're really excited to be a part of with HN Live is Hockey4Ukraine in Calgary next week. The U18 Ukraine national team camp in aid of the Ukrainian Hockey Dream Foundation, making hockey possible for young players across Ukraine during a tumultuous time, of course. And this team, this U18 team, hasn't had a chance to be together in order to have a training camp and to build their squad for World Championship activity. So they're going to do that. They're going to have a training camp and a couple of exhibition games against U18 Alberta All-Stars March 27th and March 30th at the Max Bell Center in Calgary on hnlive.ca. And we're joined now by the Vice President of the Ice Hockey Federation of Ukraine, Aleksandra Slatvytska. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you, Sean, for welcoming me. Thank you.
This is a great event, partnering with Hockey Calgary to bring the U18 team. Sort of tell me, how did this all come together?
I'm not sure that I can speak about that in a very short period of time, and because it is a huge story and huge background before that. Probably the first I should to mention that Ice Hockey Federation is good partner with Hockey Canada for many years, and Hockey Canada supports Ukraine, same as Canada as a country really supports Ukraine, and especially for the past 2 years, all the Ukrainians really feel this huge support of Canadians right now. We are very, very grateful for that, and me personally as well. But when we are speaking more about the tour and hockey by itself, so I should to mention that our good friend is Gord Miller,
right,
who's the TSM broadcaster, and also he is the member of the board for the Ukrainian Hockey Dream Foundation. From the first days of the full-scale war, he was very active in supporting the Ice Hockey Federation of Ukraine in different projects, and as well myself as a friend, and was really open to propose different kind of cooperations, how we can help right now Ukrainian kids to stay on ice, what we can do for our national teams, just to show people that we are still existent and that we still are fighting and doing a lot of different stuff to survive over here. So last year we did with him the under 25 Hockey Can't Stop tour. It was 4 games, exhibitional friendly games before the Winter Universiade in Lake Placid, New York State, 2024 Universiade Winter Games. Before that, we played with Saskatchewan University hockey team, then Calgary University team, Alberta University team, and Manitoba University team. Huge thank you once more. I want to say to everybody who supported us with those games, because coaches who first say, yeah, we are ready to do that, and then directors of athletics, they were, oh my gosh, what we are doing, okay, let's make it happen. But the huge support from all the people from those regions, they really helped us, and we saw that it's not only about the sport, it's more about some spirit of sport which can unite the people all around for some good purposes. It was really important for us, and special thanks to the Winnipeg Jets, to their owner, because we received the chance to play with Manitoba University team in Canada Life Center Arena. More than 10,000 of spectators came to the game. Probably in the history of Ukraine, it was the hugest game with so many spectators, and 4,000 of people over there. It was the refugees who were welcomed by the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. They were those people who came first ever time to ice hockey and who just came to Canada from the February 22, 2024. So it was a huge tour. We got the great impact. 3 NHL clubs, Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers, and Winnipeg Jets welcomed the team, supported it, and it was a huge, great experience for all the boys. So this year I came back to Gord again with the kind request that we can help our under 18 team, because still the situation is just coming worse. It's not coming easy or better over here. It's just really hard right now for us to focus on sports part, because all our government, all our people, we are all more focused how to defend our borders, how to fight for our freedom and independence. So how to help our fighters actually and our military. But the huge question is still to support sport national teams before their performance in different international competitions. So we did this. I just asked him for help. Maybe we can create something before the 2024 IIHF World Championship in Denmark, in Frederikshavn. It's going to be 1A division where our team will participate. And he asked Sandy Edmonstone, who is the chair and president of Calgary Canucks, is it going to be possible if the under 18 team will get some friendly exhibition games over there with some kids same age from Alberta province? And that is how we agreed that maybe we can create something. We were in negotiations how we can do that. And now you can see that we're going to have practice training camp for the national under 18 team of Ukraine in Calgary from March 24 till April 1st. And between that, inside of this camp, is going to be 2 exhibition games. First on March 27, 6 p.m. time, and the other one is going to be on March 30, 12:30 a.m. And we are very, very expecting that, again, it's not going to be only about the sport and sports preparation. Boys and coaches will be concentrated on that more. But same time, we are expecting once more to inspire our refugees over there, to show Canadians how they can help us right now, because we're still in need of support and help. And the other goal is going to be to fundraise some money for kids programs over here, just to keep them stay on ice. I'm not I see the impact of sports right now. We even increased the number of kids in youth sports schools all around the Ukraine, even in such regions, for example, as Zaporizhia. It's only 30 kilometers near the front line, but this year, more than 80 kids under the age of 12 came to start play ice hockey. It's a huge number for us. Why it's happened? Because we have provided them with the free hockey equipment, gears, and we also helped the city to reopen the ice over there. And for people from those regions, they do not have what to do to kids. Kids do not really understand that the war is going on. Their lives are continuing, and we need to provide them with much ordinary opportunities as we can, just to show them that the hope still exists to have a peaceful future for everybody of us. And
Yeah,
maybe live again. Sorry.
yeah. No, that's very powerful. And I guess, how important has sports been, and an event like this, how important is it for those young players and for those who watch and for those who participate, just to feel for a while like normal life can carry on despite what you guys are dealing with on a daily basis?
Yeah, it is. It just it's not about even that normal. It's just again about the hope to have the peaceful future, or because we do not have anymore the hope that we will get back our past in like the same conditions that we had, because we were very inspired, like especially my generation. We were inspired that we live in free independent country, that we can develop our own businesses, that we can implement different kind of scientific programs, different kind of innovational programs, but then just in one moment, in one day, even like, yeah, in couple minutes, everything changed, and like your life changed, and the principles of your existence changed. And if we're speaking about all the world, like it's not only one war in this country. We have a huge military contracts all around the global world, but those people who are not living in such circumstances, they evaluate every minute of their life in another way. Yeah, you understand that you need to pay more attention to this minute, but it's another way. And now when we had and still have this very tough, even more tough right now circumstances, but we used a little bit to these challenging circumstances, more important became every minute to spend it with your beloved ones, to improve yourself, which with with every moment, to do your best with what you're doing, to be more kind, to be more patient, to respect more one each other, to take care one to each other, to help one each other. All those things are became more valuable right now than just ordinary things that we used to. And when we're speaking about the sport as instrument, it's instrument for our under 18 boys who are gathering first ever time together, because we do not have in Ukraine more young national teams. So for them it's going to be first experience, and we're going to talk not only about the sports preparation, but we're going to talk a lot about team building, about their nationality, about the importance to perform on behalf of their own country, notwithstanding with those places where they have been during the past 2 years, because a lot of them are playing right now in North American different leagues, because they were enforced to leave their own country and to look for some safety places to stay. And a lot of them do not see their families for these past 2 years or even longer, because a lot of boys are also from the east part where the war started in 2014, and they were enforced already to come from those regions. So, but also for them, and to speak that they will represent the country, and that they need to understand that any play they're playing, any team, doesn't matter where they every time, every minute, they are representing their country. They're representing those people, those soldiers, so those heroes who are dying right now to secure their right to be free people and to have the options to choose what kind of sport to play, what kind of subject to study, or what kind of profession to choose, and so on. And hockey is extremely special kind of sport because it's not only about the sport by itself, it's a lot about the people who are involved in that sport, people who are gathering. Like, this is game when the team spirit goes beyond, goes forward and like says that you need to cooperate first because you cannot play hockey by yourself alone. And this is also the meaning we wanted to show by this game to the people who will support that it's so important to be united. It's so important to help to each other, and in such very difficult circumstances that we are in great need to feel the support still right now over here.
So then how much does it mean to you? You mentioned the last tour and seeing the big crowds. So with the event coming up in Calgary, how meaningful is it for the players there, I'm sure, but for the people of Ukraine at home as well, to see the support from the crowd, to see the enthusiastic attendance? How meaningful is that when you see those images or those videos or watch that game?
It's all about the hope again, as I told you, the hope to have a good future, and that we are not alone in our fight, that we have something in future, a good one, that so many people around the world still support us. It's really important. And this camp is supported by our Ministry of Youth and Sports, and I already received after the first promotion that it's so good that you are still doing such kind of initiatives, and that we will see how many people are still sharing our pain for what we are going through right now, and that they are still understand that this is unfair war and that we all need to stop it, because so many civilians, so many innocent people are dying every day for nothing, because there is no meaning for this war. It just people are dying, and we need to help and to stop that. And as much people will come on our events, on games, it will show again to all the world that we are not alone in our truth, and that we still can and have chances to win this war, or at least to stop it at this point.
It feels, it feels so much less important talking about just the hockey side of things when you talk so passionately about the message. But just from a hockey perspective, how valuable is this camp and these exhibition games for your players before playing in a world championship, when really they haven't had a chance to play together, they haven't had a chance to be in this kind of environment? How important is that for them before they go and play as a unit at a world championship to have this experience?
Thank you, Sean, for question, and thank you that you are taking me back to hockey perspective, because it's really important, and we have started from that point. Again, a lot of our players are playing in North America. A lot of them, like so many Ukrainians under the age of 18, 16 years old, all around the US and Canada, they are participating in different kind of leagues, and it's so hard actually to choose the best ones from them, because the roster for the World Championship is only 22 players, and so many young talented boys are all around, and not only in North America, but in Europe as well. And to gather them all together before the championship means to check their readiness in different levels, how are they ready actually to perform on such high level of international tournament. It's very responsible to take part in 1A division world championship, and they have all the chances right now if they will get the proper preparation with the support, I guess, of the Canadian specialists, as we talked already with Brad Moran, who's the head coach and general manager for Calgary Canucks, that together with their support, they have all the chances to be promoted to the top division after their performance in Denmark. So if we will, as much focused we're gonna be during this camp, as much boys will get the experience from the Canadian specialists, as well our coaches will get more experience and as well motivation, because they will be in real hockey country. They probably will visit different kind of events, practices of other teams as well to watch, and it could help them. I pretty believe that it's going to be a huge motivation for them to show their best during the World Championship and to get the result for Ukraine as a country.
You mentioned the donation, and people are interested in donating to support to keep Ukrainian kids on the ice. There's a link we'll put on the screen when we are broadcasting this. sportforcalgary.com/donate is one place you can donate, of course, by attending the games as well. And I'm honored personally to be a part of the broadcast of those games and to get a chance to chat with you about it. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story and to share such an impactful commentary. And we're really looking forward to being a part of the event. And we're really glad that your young players will have this opportunity to be here, and wish you and everybody there nothing but the best.
Thank you very much, Sean. We are really, really grateful. One more time, if I have such kind of chance right now, I would like to say thank you to everyone who are supporting this tour, to our partners, Hockey Calgary, Calgary Canucks. I would like to say special thank you to Gord Miller, Sandy Edmondstone, Brad Moran for helping with the organization of all the issues over there. My special huge thank you to our sponsors, the Mitchell Foundation, Kyiv Capitals, Adrenaline Source for Sport, Innovex, and Tim Hortons, because without them, it will be impossible to bring team so far and together everybody over there. And my huge thank you as well to our partners and sports sponsors as well, is HNLive TV and Show Pass and Sports for Calgary, because they are doing a huge job as well to helping us with the fundraising. Our special thank you as well to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and for the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Calgary branch for making good awareness about this event. Is really important for all of us. And yeah, it is about the hockey, it is about the good performance of hockey, but also it is a huge meaning for all the country, just to do our best to keep us free and independent country. Thank you very much.
Well, you couldn't have said it better. And again, thank you so much for taking the time. And we're with you here. And we can't wait to be a part of the event next week.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right. Thank you very much. That is going to be a wonderful event next week on HNLive.ca from Calgary. And Dave, I know another announcement of a big event coming to the sports world in Alberta.
Hot off the press, April 7th in Medicine Hat is going to be Raiders and Mounties in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League Junior A action. They have an exhibition game, just trying to get things, excitement building for the Junior A lacrosse season, which is just around the corner. And what is in the thick of their season is the National Lacrosse League. And we have one of their stars on the game today.
And now joined by a guy that if you followed Junior A lacrosse in Western Canada or in the province of Alberta, you're no stranger to this name. He is Mathiew Gauthier of the Panther City Lacrosse Club in the National Lacrosse League and formerly the Edmonton Miners in the Junior A lacrosse. And Matt, you are a superstar on HNLive over the years. I definitely have to say that. So thanks for making the time to join us today. What's the journey been like this year playing in Panther City in your second year?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys reaching out to me and getting me on here today. But yeah, no, my second year this year, it's been pretty fun so far with this group of guys. As the year goes on, you can build more chemistry with the guys, and yeah, no, it's been fun. So we're just kind of getting near to the end of the season here, trying to clinch in the playoff spot. But yeah, so far it's been pretty good.
Talk us through your team this year. You mentioned trying to clinch the playoff spot. What the team's looking like, what the season has been like for you guys as a group.
Yeah, I mean, we came into the season. A lot of guys from last year obviously added some new weapons to come help us out and make us better. And yeah, no, this is a great group of guys. Like coming in last year as a younger guy in the league, there's some great veterans on the team that were very nice to kind of watch and get a good idea of how it is to be a pro in this league, and then try to learn from them as best as I can, kind of being this young buck coming into the child and trying to grow as fast as I can. And yeah, no, and then coming in the second season, it's been following those footsteps again and growing even more as fast as I can and as best as I can. And yeah, it's been good so far.
Well, Matt, you certainly burst onto the scene. You had a great playoffs in 2022 with the Miners, 22 goals. You get drafted 9th overall after that. What was that transition like, going from Junior A and then right into the NLL and having a great rookie year last year?
Yeah, I mean, like after that Minto, my plan was to go just continue play some junior A hockey down in Saskatchewan. And then some NLL teams reached out, and my love for the game for lacrosse was a bit bigger than hockey, and I kind of always knew that growing up. And I always hoped of being able to go play with the pros, and then that opportunity rise when I got drafted. And yeah, no, coming in from junior to pro, obviously it's a big step up from the junior A level, but like the Miners organizations ran by pros like Lintz and all those guys. So it's pretty easy to talk to those guys and kind of be prepared in that way going into camp, and they really helped me out. So
these days, it's rarer and rarer to see an athlete be able to play at as high a level as you did in two different sports, playing junior A hockey as well as lacrosse. What was that like for you when so many other people are just saying, "Yeah, I'm just going to put all my energy into one"? And what was the choice like when you decided, okay, now it's time really to focus everything on lacrosse?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, like my parents kind of always got me in all types of sports, and then as I kind of got older, it's hockey and lacrosse, and I enjoy doing them both. And I always am a fan of, not a fan, but think that putting the equipment away for a little bit and playing some other sport actually benefits the one sport that you go back to, because you come back to it and you realize how much you missed it while you're playing the other sport. And then I guess for me, deciding on kind of what path I wanted to go on was the opportunity that I would be given to continue the sport. And then being drafted, I kind of looked at it and I said, I think I can make this work and kind of put more effort into that one sport, and then hopefully keep at it for plenty of years ahead. So.
Well, Matt, as you know, and we've seen on HNLive with a response, anytime we post lacrosse highlights or we have some games on and some of the games you've been in, the appetite for lacrosse is just intense. What would you describe, and what in your mind makes lacrosse just such a fun sport, not only to play, but to consume?
Yeah, it's really fun. Like, it's kind of got a combination of skill, grit, all that. It's pretty much hockey, but on a field. For hockey fans, if you put it that way, but yeah, it's fast paced. Guys are running into each other. There's fighting for fans that like fighting, and then there's that skill involved in the game. That if you like some pretty goals, I'm sure there's been some pretty goals this year in this season. So
the NLA awarded an expansion team to Fort Worth, Texas in 2021-22. It doesn't seem like the obvious lacrosse destination. What's it like there? What's the response to the sport and to the team like in Texas? And how have you enjoyed the transition from Alberta all the way to the southernmost point of the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing I really enjoy the weather they got down there.
I bet.
It's been pretty cool going there, and then you fly back home to minus 30 sometimes, and you're big transition there. But yeah, no, like they started that team the first year, and I wasn't there yet, but they put some groundworks in the making, and they've been growing the game there. Like the fans that we do get to come to our games, they're very passionate and they always enjoy it. I don't think there's been a fan that came and said that they didn't have a good time at our game. And I think just keep on growing that game down there will be good for Fort Worth and for the NLL as well. So.
Man, how have you evolved as a player since you and I, met a couple years ago and going from, again, as you talked about, Camrose to Estevan throughout your junior A and then into lacrosse and continually making strides to being a pro? How have you evolved, and who's really been kind of a part of that? You mentioned John Lintz, but have there been other people who have helped you kind of progress as well?
Yeah, I mean, like Jamie Bowen, John Lintz, like all those Miners coaches, they were really the first people that we saw as young athletes that are pros in the sports that we play. And then, of course, my parents for sure helped me out with kind of decisions and keeping a level-headed and obviously putting in the work to try to get to that pro athlete spot and, of course, maintain that pro athlete style of game. But it's involved me like as a better person, like meeting all these older guys that been through when they were young, and then they get to bring lacrosse into their everyday lives, right? And that's kind of what I want to do with my rest of my life. So it's been cool to watch that.
How has your game progressed in your first couple of years in the NLL, and what are some areas that you're really focusing on trying to grow?
Yeah, coming in the league, it was strength. Had to get my strength up for sure. You're playing against men now, so I got always wanted on getting a little stronger, and then of course just finishing around the net, right? Every time you get a chance, you want to be putting that ball in the back of the net, whether it's an outside shot or inside shot. So that's what I've been kind of keen on here these past few months, is just working on my shot and kind of quicker release and all those kind of technical things. But yeah, just kind of working on those things.
52 loose balls on the year, I guess, so far in the NLL as well for Matt, and a guy who's never been shy to finish around the net. So humble. I've seen some of the goals you've scored, Matt, but I really want to touch on for you the growth of the lacrosse game, especially in Western Canada. Why don't we specifically talk about Junior A overall? Only 4 teams right now in the RMLL, and I know that there's potential for that to grow. What's your thought process just on the potential for the game to continue to grow, where you look at hockey as that dominant sport, people come out, pack arenas for hockey, or the lacrosse game continues to evolve. What are your thoughts on the growth of lacrosse in Western Canada?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome to see. Like, I know when I was a kid, there wasn't much of a junior A when I was kind of growing up. Didn't really hear much about it. And then as I got older, kind of more talk about it, and people kind of got in the groundworks of getting it going, like Jamie Bowen, as I said before, and the Jordan Cornfields and all of that. Just really sticking with it and trying to get the word out to as many people as possible to get their kids in, and then just keep on growing the game. But it's taking some good steps in the right direction, and I'm very happy to see where it is right now, and I'm very looking forward to see what it's going to turn out in a few years, because I think lacrosse is a pretty great game, and the more people that get to know the game, I think they'll really love it. So,
well, and I think you would be a story that can be an inspiration to players who are, not that much younger than you, to see, hey, here's a young guy that was playing both hockey and lacrosse and found, with hard work and improvement, found the opportunity to go and play pro lacrosse. So for other guys who are kind of in your shoes that are, 14 to 18 and kind of trying to figure out what's next, what would your message be to them about, the potential and how to get to where you are right now?
Yeah. I guess for me, I'd just say, just keep on working. You never know where your hard work can get you. If you just keep on kind of sticking with it and putting your best foot forward, you never really know how far you can go with it. So yeah, I think that's all I would say to that.
Well, and the hard work put you guys as hosts of the Minto Cup last year. Obviously, a difficult loss the year prior. You hosted last year. Maybe not the performance you would have wanted, but just maybe the memory that really sticks out to me was that series against the Mounties in the RMLL championship. What was that like when it came to the competitive level and nasty is the right word, but that was every game in that series was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's only 4 teams in the RMLL league here in Alberta, so we see those guys a lot during the season, and then comes playoffs, it's a do or die really. And I mean, both teams know a lot of each other on each side, and we're really both competitive teams. And then that was a pretty fun series that came down to the last game. Fortunate enough to win that in Bill Hunter in Game 7, which was pretty cool feeling for sure. And but yeah, no, that was my time in the RMLL was a great time playing all those teams and traveling. And yeah, no, I wouldn't want to play my junior A anywhere else than RMLL.
Well, we cover it on HNLive and will be again this year. Will you be tempted now that you're not playing it to, keep your eye on that team and keep your focus and attention on that club every once in a while?
Oh yeah, for sure. Still know a bunch of guys on that team. Definitely still stay in contact with them, so I'll be coming out to watch some games when I'm back in town and stuff. But yeah, no, I'll definitely keep in contact for sure.
Maybe one final one for you about that, Matt. Just seeing all the guys drafted from the RMLL last year, and Sean Krywokin getting Rookie of the Week earlier in the season. What does that say about the caliber of lacrosse in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League? Where I don't know if maybe that was one of the highest amounts of RMLL guys drafted in recent history.
Yeah, no, you can say somewhat RMLL can be overlooked a little bit, but there's some really, really good players, really good lacrosse players coming out of the RMLL right now. I know Calgary, they have great coaches, just as Edmonton does in Saskatchewan, and they're producing. They put in the work. They go to practice every day. They run great drills to improve their players, and then you get to play a lot, which definitely helps your play. But there's a lot of hidden gems in RMLL and it was pretty cool to see them all get drafted, and I'm sure there'll be more for sure.
Well, you're anything but a hidden gem, Matt. We have certainly loved to watch you over the years, and sounds like they're going great in Panther City for you. So 6-7 on the season so far, and just take us into the stretch drive here, and what it's going to take for your club to make some noise into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you take every game one at a time, but that kind of gets in the home stretch when you kind of see teams even out here. So you kind of know which games you got to win and bring your A game to. So that's the plan this weekend. Bring our A game against Buffalo and hopefully get to 7-7, and then just continue on and punch our spot right in the playoffs.
Well, Matthew, we enjoyed you on HNLive in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League. Some great performances there. We love watching you in the NLL as well, and we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. And best of luck to you and your team the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. No, you guys are pretty awesome, HNLive. You guys throwing out the games out there. It's definitely helping the growth of the game as well. So I appreciate that.
Great to have Matthew on. A wonderful young man, and certainly an inspiration, Dave, I think, to other players of a similar age who are coming up in the junior A lacrosse system right now.
And a great story. When you think of somebody who's just playing junior A hockey, you think, okay, what am I going to do after that? And, maybe go to college, et cetera, make a life for myself. Someone comes and says, hey, you know what? You're a good lacrosse player. You want to go play pro? You should focus on that. So just an inspiration, an incredible guy to be around, a guy that I've got to know for the last couple of years. And just love catching up with him. Lacrosse, not for the faint of heart. It's a pretty vicious sport.
Another local guy made good, but in a different sport that has a different level, but a similar physical intensity, is Jabari of Dungeon Wrestling. And Dungeon Wrestling coming up on March 29th, Unfinished Business 2, live from the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary, and on pay-per-view, $11.99 on HNLive.ca. The headliner, Chris Masters against Steve Macklin for the Stu Hart Championship. But a great card full of talent from across the world, including some great local Calgary talent. Dungeon Wrestling Unfinished Business 2 coming up on March 29th from the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary and on HNLive.ca, joined by Jabari. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Of course. My pleasure, man. I'd love to chat with you, and also love to talk about Dungeon Wrestling and the pay-per-view. It's all a good day's work.
First of all, just talk about how you came to start working with Dungeon Wrestling.
It's a long story short, pretty much, but I have a good relationship with Dallas, with Steve, with that whole family, with Brad, with the entire family, and it just came up because I think Dal has ran a show before, I think a couple years back, and one day we were just sitting around, and it just came up like, hey, what if we did it again, or what if you did it again, or like what would that look like? And Dal was like, sure, let's try it, and we tried it, and it was an instant success. And then from there, it just our goals got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it came to a point where we're like, Dal, let's do what your grandfather used to do. Let's go to the pavilion. Let's play with the big boys and try our luck, and we did. And as of right now, I think we can probably say we've done a great job in the city of Calgary.
Why do you think there's such a hunger for this style of wrestling, for what Stampede used to do, but on a modern basis?
That's a good question, especially with the style of wrestling. The thing is with just like any sport, just like anything in the world, everything evolves, really, right? Everything evolves, everything changes. But at the end of the day, the foundation of how it started, people always loved that. And Stampede Wrestling was fundamental wrestling, was one-on-one wrestling, was the best storytelling, it was the best stories you could see anywhere, especially they had the best wrestlers in the world. Wrestling was simple. It was understood by all. And that's what we try to bring it to the dungeon, what we try to bring to the pavilion again is simple wrestling, yet the best wrestling. We bring the best wrestlers around and we put them in the ring and we say, hey, go out there and make magic happen. And with that being said, we try to involve everybody in the city of Calgary, and I think Stu did a good job of doing that with Stampede Wrestling. Not only was he bringing and was he producing the best wrestlers in the world, but he also made sure the city of Calgary was showcased, and I think we've done that. I think if you've been to our shows, anyone that has come to our shows has seen, public figures of Calgary, have seen upcoming athletes of Calgary, different. We work with the Hitman, we work with, I think the mayor has come to our show, and it's like, when you come to Dungeon Wrestling, you see Calgary 101, and we love that, and I think we've done a good job of that, and I think the world, anyone who supports us all over the world sees it.
Well, yeah, you being close with the Hart family, I know you were just telling me that you get to work out with Bret Hart some, and just talk about the difference that he has made to your career and to you as a wrestler.
Well, I can't even begin to tell you. I think from the time I met Bret and the time Bret has taken me under his wing and kind of provided me the best education in the world, my game and my skills and my education, everything has changed for me. I have since wrestled everywhere you can possibly think of. I've wrestled WWE, AEW, NWA. I've wrestled all over Canada. All over the States. So like to say Bret hasn't changed anything for me would be the biggest lie I could tell. But I love Bret Hart. I love everything he stands for, and I love how much he loves wrestling. And if I can take a little bit of Bret Hart and put it to my game, and fans can be like, hey, Mo Jabari reminds me of this thing that Bret did, and to me that would be the ultimate goal, and I appreciate him. And like I said, yeah, like after we get off this interview, I have to drive 35 minutes to 40 minutes to his house to get a workout in, and then to watch wrestling and just break it down. I'm very privileged and I'm very lucky to do that. I was literally all of yesterday. I went to his house yesterday to chat with him about some opportunities that's coming up for me, and to see what he thinks of it, and to get his opinion on it. And it was just supposed to be just an hour, or maybe who knows, maybe 20 minutes or whatever. And we finally looked at the clock, and it was like 5 hours later. We just sat down and talked about different things, and things that I should do going forward, etc. So I love Bret Hart, and I love everything he teaches me, and everything that he tries to install in me, and I wish one day I can do that for someone else.
What do you think are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from him throughout that process?
Being a nice person for sure, and that's something that's lost in the wrestling world. especially, and that's just not the wrestling world, that's just anywhere. But the minute you become a name of some sort, if some fame comes, people kind of change, and sure, and that's okay, and that's understandable. I think Brett's one person that's known for being the absolute best human you can possibly think of. He takes the time to deal with his fans, to talk to them. You go to a Bret Hart autograph session, it ends maybe 3-4 hours after it's supposed to end, because he takes the time, hears the stories. And he often used to tell me, these are the people that fed his family. These are the people that raised his kids with him. So to take that lesson, and for me to walk around, and anytime anyone says, "Hey Mo, you're my favorite wrestler," or "Hey, I'm a fan of yours," I take the time to talk to them and make sure they have an experience, and they can go and say, "Hey, Mo Jabari is my friend," really.
What are some for you? You've mentioned the new opportunities you've had. You've been able to wrestle in all sorts of different promotions. What are some of the highlights of your career? I mean, Dungeon certainly would be one of them, but what are some highlights that stand out for you in your career so far?
Oh man, there's a lot. Of course, I would be lying if I didn't say like wrestling on Monday Night Raw wasn't one of them. I was very lucky, especially to do it in Alberta, in Edmonton of all places, where I have wrestled God knows how many times, and have wrestled in front of 5 people. I've wrestled in front of 10 people. I've wrestled in front of 100. The number goes up, but to wrestle in front of like 15,000 people in Edmonton, and not only to wrestle there, but to have a lot of families, a lot of family friends, a lot of friends, a lot of fans, to walk to the ring and to hear people call my name and, chant for me was surreal to me. And it was a moment that I won't forget for a very long time. And hopefully a moment that I can live many times over.
Coming up on Unfinished Business 2 on March 29th, you've got a matchup with Harlan Abbott. Just tell me about that match and what we can expect from it as fans.
I'm looking forward to wrestling Harlan Abbott, and he's a stable here in Calgary, in Alberta. He's a guy that has wrestled all over Canada and all over Alberta for many years. I think he's up there in the 15-year mark type of thingy, and that's a guy you don't want to mess with when you're in deep waters like that. When he's wrestled that many years and has that many experience, and I don't have as much experience as he does. So for me, it would have to be, to come in, to be smart, to be direct, and to get to the point right away. And that's to win right away. I can't fool around. I can't let him get in his groove. And for me, it's just get in and get out is my goal. Get in and get out. And you can expect the best match, quite possibly the best match of the night. I believe that's a match that can sell out anywhere in the world. He's a great talent, and I've wrestled him before. Not at this capacity, but I've wrestled him in a smaller venue, and I've had great matches with him. But he is a guy you can't play around with. He is a guy that also likes to come in and get the job done right away. So for me not to take him serious would be a problem that I have to deal with later on.
Now, at the same time, as much as you're focused on the match you're having with your connections to the Hart family, how much are you watching that Stu Hart Heritage Championship match between Chris Masters and Steve Macklin and getting your eye towards that title?
Absolutely. That's actually a good question. And that's a belt, and that's Stu Hart. We all know who Stu Hart is, and we all know what he stands for, not only here, but in the wrestling business in general. That's a guy that is respected all over the world. And that belt, Chris Masters says it all the time. It's a belt that he cherishes, and he walks around everywhere in the world proudly wearing it. I'd be lying to say it wouldn't be a goal, it wouldn't be a dream to not win that belt in that arena. I'm a big Hart guy. I'm a big historian of the profession, and for me, if I can do that in that building, it would be surreal. And of course, I'll be watching it really close. And I'd be cheering. No, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't cheering for Masters. But it would also be a problem to deal with. So we'll see what happens on the 29th, I guess.
I guess just, lastly, if you're giving the sales pitch to fans out there, whether they're going to attend in person at the Victoria Pavilion or if they're unable to get there and they're going to watch on HNLive.ca, what is it about Dungeon Wrestling Unfinished Business 2? Why should they go out of their way to see it?
It's the best wrestling money can buy. Really, first of all, you get a card that you wouldn't see anywhere. You got a main event that can main event a pay-per-view anywhere, any company in the world. That goes for WWE. That goes for AEW. That goes for Impact. That goes for everywhere. That main event alone is worth the ticket price. It was worth the pay-per-view buys. But then again, you have an undercard with guys like myself, guys like Raj Singh, guys like Rohan Raju. You got Chris Knight. You got top of the top-notch athletes and wrestlers. But like I said, our wrestling shows aren't just wrestling. It's an event. It's an event that you never know what's going to be there. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to show up. You'll see. Not only will you enjoy the wrestling, but you'll enjoy watching the fans enjoy the wrestling. That's the one thing about Dungeon Wrestling. If you don't like a match, you look around. It's like you see kids jumping, you see kids running all over the place. You see grown adults throwing their drinks, going crazy. It's like I feel like once you walk through the doors of the pavilion, age doesn't matter anymore. Age doesn't matter anymore. Who you are doesn't matter anymore. It's a fun time. It's a great time, and we often get messages like immediately saying, "I cannot wait for the next show. I cannot wait." It's crazy to think about this, but we'll get messages where people will be like, "Hey, tonight I watched Dungeon Wrestling in the same seats that I used to watch with my dad." Stampede Wrestling, I watched Bret Hart versus Dynamite Kid in those same seats that I just watched with my grandson or with you or something. It's crazy to think that. It's not only about the wrestling; it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, and I think that's one thing that Calgary wrestling and the Stampede territory is all about. It's nostalgia, it's memory, it brings families together, and that's what Dungeon Wrestling is about. It's not just about the wrestling; it's about everybody. It's about the families, it's about the friends, it's about the memories, and like I said, once you see the people having fun, it's hard not to have fun.
That's awesome, Mo. Thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck on the 29th.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Again, it's going to be Dungeon Wrestling Unfinished Business, Mo Jabari and company in action, March 29th from the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary, and of course, streaming on HNLive.ca. Time now for our top plays of the week, brought to you by Adrenaline Source for Sports, Calgary's premier store for hockey, lacrosse, and team apparel. Recently renovated and bigger and better than ever, a one-stop shop for all your sporting good needs. Visit us online at adrenalinegroup.ca. We fit your game. And for me, it was the goal for Scott Brown in Game 1 of the Heritage Junior Hockey League Championship Series, salting it away in a wild first period where Okotoks took a 3-1 lead and held on the rest of the way for a 3-1 victory over Sylvan Lake in Game 1. Just a nice, quick play off the face-off. Well executed for Scott Brown.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Caden Toussaint in game number 2, a save for the Sylvan Lake Wranglers. And Toussaint has been the backbone of that team. I remember last year talking to Pat Garrity about him. And this year, again, just a phenomenal goalie. Defense and goaltending wins championships, as you know, Molly. And Toussaint, a massive save for Sylvan as their series is all knotted up at 1 apiece.
What a series that is shaping up to be, with Game 3 set for Friday in Okotoks. And on HNLive.ca, Chris Colwell leading our broadcast team there with Matt Torgerson. They're doing a great job so far, and we're looking forward to the remainder of that series on HNLive.ca. And again, thank you to all our guests. We're looking forward to Hockey for Ukraine out of Calgary next week, March 27th and March 30th. And Dave, have a wonderful last weekend of the Western Hockey League season for the Edmonton Oil Kings with your home and home against the Red Deer Rebels.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's been quite a crazy stretch run here for 6 weeks, but OEG has treated me just tremendously well, and it's been awesome, and I can't wait to get back and be doing a couple more events with HNLive, and I could probably see a lot less of you. I wouldn't.
Oh, you're just sour because the Broncos beat your Oil Kings again. Jeez.
Don't be so geeky about it.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Thanks to Alex. I'm Sean Mullen. You've been watching HNLive Today.